Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Party Chat Podcast. Thank you so much for coming back. I know, I'm late. I'm about 2 weeks late. We'll get into all that later. There's a lot of things going on. But if it's your first time coming to the show, this is a podcast when, maybe you just got done writing that script, finishing up that story, got done editing that video, and you just want to hang out. Just want to hang out, have a little chat, talk about the creative process, talk about what it's like putting out content, talk about what it's like, really getting the courage to put out content and kind of the daily things that we go through as content creators. And also, we like to have fun on the show. We like to talk about some video games, like to talk about some film. Movie in the background, Tracers with Taylor Lautner. Is it a good movie? No. Should you watch it? Yes. I'm not going to tell you much about it. You probably heard about it, this movie came out around that whole entire Twilight era, towards the end of it, and he tried to, make a little action movie career. Didn't really go that well, but you should really watch it. It is hilarious. But really, guys, with everything going on so far with my life, I moved out. I moved out of my roommate's apartment. Me and my girlfriend and I were in our own spot, and man, I am loving it. Words cannot describe what it feels like to kind of be fully independent. Even though, me and her were out of our parents' house, we live with a roommate, but you kind of have this feeling that, it was her house, it was her spot. So what it did for me, it would limit to what I can do. I felt like if I had to make a video, I had to be in the room. I'll try to make some videos in the kitchen sometimes, and the only times I was really successful with it if I did it at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and it was real quick. If I would do it like in the afternoon or even in the morning, she would be in and out, and, she'd be asking me, am I going to be done? I really couldn't stretch out my wings creatively with the videos I wanted to do because I'm just limited to a room, you know what I mean? And that room shared between me and her really felt like a 4x4 box. So, it wasn't the best setup, but, now that I'm here with my own entire spot, I'm just shooting comfortably in the living room. Before I would shoot and the bedroom was all cramped. Now I have so much space. I have my light set up. I have the projector going in the background. I'm loving it. I have so many projects I intend to do. And the funny thing about moving out, and I felt it when I first moved out of my parents' house. You feel more creative, maybe because you feel more free, maybe because you feel less tethered, right? Nothing against my parents. My parents, they helped me out a lot, but I do feel like when you're under someone else's roof and you are dependent on them to a degree, I think you do feel limited in what you can do and the space that you have to do things, unless they're fully supportive and they allow you to. But even with that, there's more bodies getting in the way. There's more schedules you have to work around. It just becomes harder. So I recommend anyone, if you're able to really focus on moving out, really focus. And even it doesn't have to be by yourself. It doesn't have to be your own getting a 1-bedroom or a studio apartment. It can really just be you hitting up your friend, being like, hey, let's actually do it. You know what I mean? I know I've been there. I've been in moments when I'll talk to friends about it and we'll talk about it, but nothing would happen. And I think a lot of times it's fear. Fear, you feel like you don't know what's going to happen. You're scared to get rejected. You're scared to make that step. And you feel like it might just be like a really long process. But I'm telling you, if that's how you're feeling, it's not. It's not a long process. It's probably the easiest thing I've done. Honestly, I would say getting a car was harder than me finding an apartment. It was a longer process. But really finding a first roommate to move into, not this apartment, but the first roommate to move into, wasn't hard. You just really have to do it, and you really just have to look. And if you're looking for a roommate situation, money might be a factor. But when you're working when you're moving in with roommates, it becomes a lot easier. Like, I can only speak for myself. I knew I was spending enough to know that if I were to cut back, I could move in with someone. And a lot of people are in that predicament. Maybe maybe you're going out and spending a lot of money on food. You're going to be going out and spending a lot of money on alcohol or other things, or maybe you're going out and spending a lot of money on video games, or all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Spending money with you don't need to, buying hella fucking Fortnite, fucking microtransactions. I don't fucking play Fortnite, but I know a lot of people do. A lot of y'all watching this do, and I'm sure you guys have brought some fucking V-Bucks when y'all didn't need to. It's called V-Bucks, right? I don't know what it's just called, but anyway. So so that kind of leads into why I've been really like with the podcast. I've been moving out. I've been moving out of my out of that person's house. Probably the most toxic person I've ever met in my life. Roommates, and that's what I guess I'll go into too. Roommates are awful unless you know this person. The roommate I had, without going too much into it, because I don't want to drag her out on the internet and shit like that, but this person was crazy. She ended up stealing like 2 of our boxes we had out there, and we had to, get in situations so I get it back, and it was a whole back and forth. It was a whole thing, but we had to. So everything I had planned got cut short. We felt like we have to move out as soon as possible. So we had to move out. He has to get all the furniture. We had to move it in. So for the last last week, I've been busy. Even when we got set up, I've been busy. We've been here cleaning. We've been here going to Walmart, getting all the little things we need, going to fucking Food for Less, going to Target, going here to there, going to Costco. So overall, man, it's been a crazy time for me. I also started an internship. Now, that has also been putting in a lot of time, but honestly, I would say the internship, if anything, has only motivated me to do more. You know what I mean? I feel like when I did the first podcast, I was really into it. I liked it. First podcast, no one really watched it. I don't think anyone was watching it. But, I think I'm pretty much talking to the bits. But people are going to start watching it eventually. People are going to start watching it eventually. Maybe someone's watching it now. You know what I mean? But usually when you do something and you say you're going to do it next week and you don't do it, and you have, a valid reason for not doing it, when you have that time again, sometimes it's easy to be like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it, move on. But with me working an internship and being around other people who are hustling, other people who are grinding, who are putting in the time and the effort, and not only into their jobs to work there, because I'm the only intern there. Everyone else there works there full-time or part-time with nearly full-time hours. All of them put a lot of work there. And a lot of them are also doing other things that involve video. So I'm looking at myself and I'm like, man, dude, like I can push so much harder. I can grind so much harder. When I'm there, there's such a great energy. And as I'm getting older, dude, I always felt like I was positive enough to withstand any negativity. Right? I'll be like, oh, whatever, it doesn't bother me. Like, I thought I can let things bounce off me and, it wouldn't affect me. But as I get older, I start realizing people's energy really does start to drain on you. You know what I mean? We start picking up their vibes. So, as I'm around them, they're so positive. You know what I mean? They're constantly working. They're passionate. You know what I mean? They're energetic. They're snappy. They're going at it. And I love it. So it has me wanting to be like that. It has me going on 10. Ready to punch out more work, edit more videos, shoot more videos, make more content, write more content, just so on and so forth. It just has me really pumped. And I'm just so excited for this. I'm just so excited for this opportunity in terms of, of course I do hope and at some point it could give me a job in the future, but even if it doesn't, what it's given me is that push to continue working. You know what I mean? There was a 2-year period in my life when I just wasn't doing anything creative. I was just down. I wasn't really surrounding myself with creative people that were working on things. I wasn't really going to school. I was no longer in a film program. So I think I was actually still in school, but I think I wasn't taking any film programs. I was taking a whole bunch of regular classes. So it just really nothing was kicking fuel under my ass. You know what I mean? Nothing was really making me push. And I feel bad saying that I feel like I don't have the proper motivation to do it myself. But honestly, I don't all the time. I need competition. I need energy. I need people who are also working on things. I need that because I thrive off that. I realize that I thrive off a community. I don't know if other people like that, but I thrive off a community. I need to put myself around other people who are doing that same thing because then I can excel with them. You know what I mean? I feel like I feel like a lot of my problem was that I just wasn't surrounding myself with people who are doing things I wanted to be doing. And that's not saying like people who surround themselves were bad people or anything like that. They were great people. They held me down. They brought me up when I was going through that bad time, going through that bad time. But they weren't doing things that I wanted to do, that I wanted to do with my life. And I'm starting to realize that that I need to. So being in this internship really has helped me with being motivated to put out more work, to edit more content. I know I said that already. I know I'm being redundant at this point, but it's been life changing right now. It's been life changing. The energy I feel for this, the passion I'm feeling, and then I'm really doing it. I'm really putting the cameras in my face. The light is up. You know what I'm saying? If they're just in the background, playing the tracers. A 3-star Roger Ebert fucking 2 thumbs up movie. We're doing it. And it makes me excited. And after this, I'm gonna do some more work. You know what I mean? So, I'm gonna be vlogging, even though it's getting kind of late. So I think it's about 3 o'clock right now. So it's kind of late for the vlog, but I'm gonna still try to pump something out. To try to pump something out, just because after I shoot that vlog, I want to edit the vlog. I'm already in the middle of editing, and then also with the internship, going back to that, they're gonna send me some work they want me to do as well. So I'm just gonna be really busy. I'm really busy. I'm trying to say, fuck a 40-hour work week. You know what I mean? I work at Forever 21. I'm manager there. Fuck a 40-hour work week. Sometimes I have to do 80-hour work week. And you know what I mean? I feel like, I do 40 hours for money working for someone else's company. How come I can't do 40 hours for myself working for myself? How come I can't do 40 hours so I can get paid for that later on in the future doing what I want to be doing in life? I don't want to be working in retail forever. You know what I mean? Like, I've already been working at Forever 21 for 5 years. For 5 years. Forever 21 was my first job. Forever 21, I won't say was. Forever 21 is my first job. I've been there since I was 19. And I don't even know how it started. Like, I know like how I turned my application in. I know why I applied there. But I never intended to be there more than like really 7 to 8 months, like just until the next semester, and probably quit during the summer. Like, I don't know how it went so far. And I guess that's kind of going to what I was saying earlier. Community is contagious for me because what I really fell in love with that job was the people who I was working with. And I know the podcast going everywhere. I was talking about my internship I'm doing, but this is something really interesting that I want to touch on. Community is really contagious to me. Forever 21 wasn't some place I applied to because I really love Forever 21. In all honesty, my first time walking inside of Forever 21 is when I applied for Forever 21. I've never walked in. Honestly, if you're going to be real honest, when I would go to the mall and I would see Forever 21s, at some malls, when you see the Forever 21 store, it says Forever 21. The ones that I would always see when I started seeing Forever 21s when I was in Texas, not in Chicago, but I lived in Texas when I really started noticing them, they would say XXI. Now me, not realizing that was just 21, because I'm like, what store is this name 21? I thought it was XXL, so I thought they sold only plus size clothing. Now that's not to be an asshole, not to be a jerk. That's just honestly what I thought. So I never went inside it. You know what I mean? Not saying like, I'm not skinny, but I'm like, I don't wear plus size with clothing. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, they dope. They got these stores everywhere. You know what I'm saying? They holding it down. You know what I'm saying? Plus size with many clothes. You know what I'm saying? But, year 2016, you know what I'm saying? It was my second semester of college, and I was broke. You know what I mean? I was in California. I was still kind of adapting to living in San Diego. I lived in Texas previously for like a year. I did my senior year in Texas, and then for rest life previous before that, I just lived in Chicago. I was in Chicago between the ages of like 3 to like 16. Um, so I'm really adapting. You know, my mom helped me out, spending money here and there, but you know, I needed more money. You know, I wanted, I was 19. You know, wanted to dress nice. You know, I wanted to buy clothes. I wanted to get some nice shoes. You know what I'm saying? Get a watch. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be fresh. All my other friends were having jobs. They were dressing nice. They had nice cars. I was going to school. I had the little Dell. People put our fucking taking out MacBook Pros. You know, I felt like I was, it was materialistic, but I felt like I was just being left in the dirt. But going for it, it was me, my friend Alyssa, and my friend Ariane, and we're just going to the mall, just passing applications. I went and asked if Zoomies was hiring. Zoomies was not hiring. I went into a comic book store. They were not hiring. GameStop, they were not hiring. I went into the Hallmark card store. They were hiring. Went an application to there. And that's honestly the job I thought I was going to get, in all seriousness. I don't know why I thought I was going to get that job. In all seriousness, that's the one I thought I was going to get. And honestly, I would have preferred that over Forever 21. I thought, you know what I mean? It would seem like a slower store. I don't want to do it closed like that. But they never called me back. But I go into Forever 21 with my friends, and there's this guy behind the counter, Mexican guy, had the sides of his hair cut, but long on top. But it was greased back. Like super greased back, like a greaser. And wore a flannel. And he was, and the two girls was after application, and I was kind of sitting back. I wasn't going to apply, and then Alyssa looks at me and she goes, "Do you want an application too?" And I was like, She was like, "Just get one. Like, why not? It's your job. Just get one." And I was like, "Hey, let me get an application too, man." And he was like, "You want an application too, bro?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, give me an application." And he was like, "All right, cool." They go, give the application. I fill it out. Give it to him. No, actually, no. He gives me an application. I take it, go home, and fill it out. And the next day, I go back. I'm coming from school, and as I'm getting off the bus, because I didn't have a car at the time, there was another guy who was getting off another bus who I knew from school, and he was dressed up all nice. No, he was getting on the bus. I was about to get. He was about to get on the bus I was getting off of, and he was dressed all nice, button-down T-shirt, nice dress pants, some Kenneth Cole shoes, just really like just dripped to the teeth, about to get to the bus. And I was like, "Oh, what's going on, man?" And he was like, "Oh, nothing. Just got back from this interview. You know what I'm saying? Just got the job." I'm like, "Where at?" He's like, "Forever 21." And I'm like, "Forever 21?" He's like, Yeah, man." I'm like, I'm about to go drop my application right now." He was like, "Man, you should go ahead and do that. This is what this is what I did, what I said, you know what I'm saying?" But this guy had me intimidated. I'm not even gonna lie. This nigga told me he rapped in an interview. This nigga told me he fucking rapped in an interview. I'm like, "Nigga, you entertaining motherfuckers? That's what you doing now? This is what we have to do? Like, you have to jump through hoops?" Like, I know how to be. To me, like, he put a lot of stress in my mind. He put a lot of stress on my mind. Now I really look back on it. I haven't thought about this for a minute. The fact that he told me that before he got hired, he rapped for them was something that just really had me shook in my boots, because I was not about to do anything. I didn't even think I can talk to them. You know what I mean? I was 19. I was really taking strides to improve my public speaking. I was taking communication classes in school, public speaking classes, because really talking in public to people was really made me nervous. Talking to strangers really made me nervous in general. And I'm about to go into retail, and I'm gonna have to interview for this. So this whole situation was really it was making me sweat. And if you know me, you know I fucking sweat. All right, I was sweating just thinking about it. All right. But whatever, I'll say fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I already spent all this time, filling out the application. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? I go in the mall, walk in. For some reason, at this time, I think maybe like the lights are out, because it was dark as fuck. Like, there were some lights, but like it's not as bright as it usually is. Like, it's usually like white and like if you've been for 21 on me, it's usually just white and like super just blinding basically. But this time it was dark. The lights were like orange. Like it didn't seem like they're having like an outage, but the register's working and you know Forever 21 register's working. You know what I'm saying? You still working. You still bringing these motherfucking tickets. All right. So I go in. I ask someone like, have an application. Who can I turn this into? She brings me to the register, and this little tiny age woman comes up to me. I give her my application. She looks at it, real quick, turns over, looks at it, looks at me, does this little move, and she's like, "All right, go ahead and write your name right here. You're gonna be with Uvia at 11:30, and do good. Don't make me look bad." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, it's just pressure on top of pressure." But I went in. I went into interview the next day. Got hired on the spot. It was all good and dandy. But going into it, I already had one person in there who I knew, right? I already had one person in there who I knew. And then I also had my friends who applied, and they all got down the line and got hired. And then slowly and surely, I started making this group. That guy who gave application to, me and him were now best friends. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of the story. I know I was kind of went on, I kind of just ran with it for a little bit. But it kind of just shows me like, it's really the community. You know what I mean? I stayed there for so long because people who I met there and people who went in there were so impactful to my life at that time that it kept me there. And now I'm there because it's a stable job. You know what I mean? It pays my bills. You know what I mean? I came up in the company. I'm no longer like a store associate. I'm an assistant store manager at the store. So it pays my bills. It pays me decent. So that's why I'm still there. But the whole point I'm saying is that community can't be overlooked. If you're trying to get into something, you have to look for communities in the same space that you want to be in. You know what I mean? Like my girlfriend does makeup, but it's she doesn't have any friends that are passionate about makeup like she's passionate about makeup. In terms of wanting to make a career out of it, she has friends that do her makeup, and she has friends that do their makeup really well. She has friends that do their makeup really well, but that are not passionate about it like they want to make a career out of it like she does. You have to find the energies. You have to find these energies on this planet that you want to replicate. If you want to have a good work ethic, you have to find people with that work ethic and really just learn from them. Let their energy rub off of you, right? Let their energy rub off of you. That's very important, I feel like. And that's something I'm realizing, you know what I mean? So, that's why I'm about to start hitting people up. If you're watching this video, if you're watching this podcast, and you make content, or you doing something spectacular, know in the next coming months, next coming weeks, the next coming days, the next coming hours, I will be hitting you up. We are going to be making something. We're going to be making something because I need your energy. I need your fucking energy. You know when fucking Goku fucking does a fucking spirit bomb, puts his hand in the air, and fucking blue orbs from the earth start fucking coming? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why they do. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if people know Saiyans exist, and everyone's just lifting their hands up and like, Goku needs me. I don't know what's going on, but I need all of that shit. I need all of that shit. All right? So, let me get some of this water right here. You guys can go on day. It's right here. I drink this in the whole day, all the time, probably 45% of the time. Okay? all the time, 45% of the time. The one thing also, let me see. What's the name? Let's go ahead and get this popping. Watch drink a Modelo real quick. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you doing these little podcasts, I'm dropping shit. Get the focus back. When you're doing these podcasts, sometimes you gotta just relax a little bit. This podcast, it's not the best. There's definitely better things you could be listening to right now. You could be listening to Joe Rogan. You can listen to the Bully Idiots podcast. You can listen to a lot of different podcasts, Bill Burr content, a lot of different podcasts on the internet. But one thing that I want to say is that as a creative person, you have to learn to do things for you. By that I mean, oh my God, come on, give me the focus. By that I mean, you have to be constant for you. Even though I feel like if I'm being all honest right now, and this might be uncomfortable if you're actually watching this, if I'm being completely honest right now, I feel like I'm talking to nobody. I feel like I'm talking to myself. I just have the camera pointing at me, and I'm just talking to the best. You know what I mean? My girlfriend doesn't watch this. I doubt many of my friends watch these podcasts that are an hour long. But I'm doing them for me. And I'm doing them for me because if you know me, I tend to stutter. I tend to talk really fast. I tend to go for my words. I tend to get stuck on words. Not to say like I'm not well spoken enough, but it's not uncommon for me to get stuck on a word and have to pause myself and come back to it. So I'm doing these conversations so I can really monitor the way I talk. I'm really putting a lot of effort to control the pace of the way I'm speaking. I'm putting a lot of effort into not to get stumbled on my words, to really keep track of my brain. I think a lot of times I just get scattered brain when I'm speaking. I have so many things I want to say, so many possibilities of words. Look, it's happening right now. So many possibilities of what I could say, so many words I want to say, so many sentence combinations I could do, and they're all coming at once. So a lot of time I just get stuck and I just I don't sound like that. I don't do that for anyone. Like I sound like the little like retarded noise. I'm not trying to do that. But I do get stuck on phrasing sometimes. So I'm doing this podcast not only so I do want to cultivate an audience. So because I make content on Twitch, I'm making content on YouTube, but it's all going to coexist together. And I do want to have this as another branch of entertainment for people who do maybe like watching me, do maybe like my POV, like my opinion on things, who knows. And I do want to have these up so possibly when that success does happen, I don't even want to say possibly, when that success does happen, I'll be ready for it. There will be more polish. These shows are going to get better every day. This is my second podcast, and I already feel a difference. You know what I mean? In terms of the setup, in terms of how comfortable I feel, which is kind of the biggest thing. If you want me to be honest, I had to do a podcast during the move. A little bit before we moved, I tried doing a podcast and I couldn't speak. The words couldn't come out. The conversation wasn't flowing. And the conversations that I have with myself, they're not easy to have. You really have to respect people who can do radio shows or podcast shows about themselves. Like it's hard. It's hard to talk to yourself and go topic to topic, to talk in detail and not get lost in the conversation. That happens to me. I get lost in the conversation all the motherfucking time. Because I just go to one topic to the next, just bouncing. And those people who can say on one topic and really give you the full story and give you the detailed story, that's talent. But it's a talent you have to hone. No one was always like that. It's something that you have to do from repetition. Joe Rogan has 1,300 plus episodes. He is, in my opinion, the greatest of all time at podcasts. He's one of my favorite podcasts. But that's something he was able to do over repetition, repetition, repetition. And I don't want to get there. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I have a really good personality, and I have to just really be able to show it on camera. Really get comfortable. I'm not as comfortable as I would like to be on camera, right? Like I'm a lot more comfortable than I feel like a lot of other people than a lot of other. See, it's happening right now. I feel like a lot more comfortable. I'm a lot more comfortable than a lot more. Maybe I just can't talk. Maybe I should really get shit. Maybe I just can't talk. I'm more comfortable than most people are on camera, right? And I think that comes because, when I was in college, me and my friends would always take pictures of each other. We'd always record each other. So I think that's where my comfortability comes with being on camera. But I'm not as funny as I usually am. I'm not as witty as I usually am on camera. I'm not as quick as I usually am. I get stumbled a lot more talking to the camera because, maybe because I have to bounce off my own energy. You know what I mean? I bounce off other people's energy. I match people's energy a lot of times. If someone's being like rude to me, for example, I'll be rude back. Someone's being like happy, I'll be happy. Someone being laughing, I'll laugh. You know what I mean? I really big on energy and what I feel from other people. So I think maybe that's why it's difficult for me. And I forgot what we're talking about. See, so shout out those people that can really they can really stay on one topic because it is talent. It is a talent, and it's something I'm trying to do. But I kind of remember the whole point of this now. But I want to get to a point when these do become natural. So these podcasts will be something people will want to listen to on a weekly basis. I want to make these every week. I want to come out every Thursday. So I want it to be something that people like to watch. So I have ideas coming, man. I have ideas coming. And honestly, the only holding it back is me. The only holding it back is me, and it's scary to say. You know what I mean? I have to wake up early in the morning and really start grinding out the videos. And I mean, when I say grinding out the videos, I mean the back work. The one is the work, not the fun part, which is just shooting it. The work, which is planning it, writing it. I love writing, but sometimes writing is work. It's work because you're really having to think it through. You're really having to really just, really consider everything. It's work. I love it, but it's work. But I have to do it, and I have to put in the work also to. I had to put in work also to really sit back and plan out what videos I want to do. In terms, oh my God, come on, focus on me. All right. See, I was putting on a test to see how the autofocus will be, but it's grabbing other people's faces. I guess because I'm so dark, they're like, you don't want to focus on him, right? You want Taylor Lautner. That's what you really want. We have a Taylor Lautner autofocus, so we need Taylor Lautner's face over any other face, especially a darker face. We don't give it to Taylor Lautner. You know, Virginia Modelo out here. One of the best beers, I would say, of all time. I know I was saying something previous before that, but I really just forgot. So, one thing I did want to talk about, though, that's kind of unrelated. I kind of want to I saw something. My cousin sent me a video, and if you're into games, maybe you've been to Prince of Persia back in the day. Prince of Persia back in the day was something that I didn't have a really big love for. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I used to have kind of like a pirated DVD of Prince of Persia. But I don't know how I got it. Okay. So I had this Xbox. I had this Xbox that I got from my mom. This one, 360 was already just came out, and one of her friends had an original Xbox that he didn't want anymore, so he gave me this Xbox, and it had a whole bunch of games. That was already installed on it. It was weird. It was I guess it was an emulator that had a whole bunch of old games on it. So it had the original Lara Croft, for example, was on it. It had a whole bunch of old PlayStation games on it. It was awesome. It just was sometimes glitchy as fuck and never saved. So that's why I didn't play like that. But when you're bored, you're fucking 10 years old, you're kind of like, oh, what I'm saying, something to do. But he also had, I think, like it was like a Prince of Persia, like a Book of Bula. Like it was just a disc, with no art on it, just a blank disc, with they said Prince of Persia and Sharpie. But I played the fuck out of that shit though. I played the fuck out of it. Never beat it because it was kind of hard. I don't know. Maybe I was retarded. Maybe I was stupid. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I just couldn't beat it. But I didn't get kind of hard, and I would just get mad as fuck. But the game for what it was really fun. And the concept of reversing time and going back time, that's how you would complete these puzzles, was a great gameplay mechanic. And watching it back when when they announced this remaster trailer or remake trailer they're doing, which doesn't look that great by the way. I'm not going to get that shit because the graphics don't look that good. And what really sticks out to me about the graphics more so than anything is the animations, right? It's like, for me, if you're going to do a remake, you need to remake the animations too, because those animations are old as fuck, right? They're old as fuck. It kind of just looks super floaty. They don't really have any weight to it. Like it looks like Adobe Flash animations. That's what it looks like to me. Adobe Flash animations, just weightless and just floating. But with a new coat of paint. You know what I mean? Coat of paint is fairly alright. It's alright. Like it's not the worst remake graphics I'm saying, but it's far from the best. It's very in the middle. Which I guess it's Prince of Persia. Like who really? Excuse me for that. It's Prince of Persia. So who's really checked Prince of Persia like that? If we're just keeping it real, but one thing watching that kind of really saying it to me is that in a lot of ways gameplay these days in games are pretty fucking boring. Like they're boring as fuck. Like just think about it. Like I think games right now are in this stage when they really want to be taken seriously, or they're trying to be intense, right? But there's no game right now. I don't say no game. There are games right now, but there's not many games right now that are really trying to just to be fun. I know back when I was growing up, a lot of games were just meant to be fun. Now games are meant to be, intense military simulators. They're meant to be fucking realistic. They're meant to be fucking competitive, right? But like, no one's making a game. There's not many people making games that are just meant to be fun. Fall Guys is out. I hear that's pretty fun. I haven't played Fall Guys. There's games like Rocket League that's fun, but there's not a lot of mainstream AAA games that are just trying to be fun. Like I love The Last of Us. But I wouldn't say the combat in Last of Us is fun. I would say the combat in Last of Us is fitting to the dialogue and to the story because it's very hard to watch sometimes. It's very gruesome and it's very violent, but it's not fun. You know what I mean? Uncharted games aren't really fun. They're fun to watch. Like Indiana Jones is fun to watch, but they're not fun gameplay wise. You can put Uncharted gameplay in almost any game. I feel like Uncharted 3 is not Uncharted 3. Uncharted 4 is when the game started kind of trying to be fun, right? Just like they started adding a grappling mechanic. Some other fun moments came from that. But Gears of War 3 not really fun. Very intense, very gruesome. That kind of makes it fun in a way, but not very fun. You're covered, pop and shoot. You know what I mean? But gameplay hasn't really been that fun, and I feel like. And I feel like that's because the writing games have gotten so much stronger. And the trend is, I believe the trend is that they want the writing to carry the game, especially in single player games, right? Like, come on, Death Stranding is just pretty much you're running around. You're running around and walking, and people love that game. That's fine. I haven't played it. I don't hate it, but I know that game is carried by the story. Everyone will tell you that. Same way with these Telltale games. Same way with fucking even Call of Duty trying to have a good storyline to carry a story. A lot of games are trying to have a good storyline to carry a story. The same way I thought the movie industry are relying on CGI to tell a story rather than have good writing. It's kind of like a weird flip. The movie industry relies on graphics to tell a story. So now movies aren't that good, and I feel like video game companies are relying on story, so now their gameplay isn't that good. It's kind of a weird. It's kind of like a weird cross and see how like different genres have different pluses and negatives that does different things. Because I would really say this is something I started seeing around the 360 era, where games will start getting really when games will start getting cinematic, is when games stop being fun. And here's why. Here's why I'm thinking. Because cinematic games takes a lot of fucking graphics, takes a lot of fucking CPU. It's been a fucking overclock. You think that PlayStation sounds like a fucking 725 fucking rolling fucking jet plane now? You fucking have, let's say, what's a fucking game? What's one of these fucking cinematic games? Fucking, let's say the Order 1877, what the fuck it's called. Imagine if that game, you can actually have fucking free roaming your character, fucking pick a character up, throw them like you can in like Force Unleashed and Control. And Control isn't the best looking game, but look what you can do with Control. Imagine you can do that shit in games like Uncharted, right? It will fucking lag. It will lag. And that's kind of the thing when we're pushing these cinematic games. I feel like in these games that have these high graphic fidelity models, these high polygon models, sacrifice comes to the gameplay. And with that, they bring in cinematic writing. You know, you can't just have a cinematic game without what they call cinematic writing, which is great storyline. You know, great storyline, 3-act structure, possibly a 6-act structure depending on the game, and they follow that. And you know, he made a lot of great games have made from this, right? Last of Us, the Uncharted series. I would say even like, you know, BioShock Infinite. And a lot of people don't like BioShock Infinite, but I love BioShock Infinite. And I prefer BioShock Infinite over the first BioShock, even though the first BioShock did have better gameplay, I'm not gonna lie. But BioShock Infinite to me had a better story. And with that story, I feel like they kind of locked with the gameplay because that story were really reflected on the world. And I feel like the world, also in my opinion, was better than Rapture. But that's neither here. That's neither here or there. But in a lot of ways, I think games have just gotten less interesting gameplay wise. Cause like, you can have games like what was that one game when you're in the fucking forest and fuck, I know this game named any other time now I cannot think about it. You're like in the forest, your name is Hank, and you're talking to a girl, and your name is Samantha, I don't know. And fuck, I have to look it up. Firewatch. I have to look it up. I was like, what is he doing in this game? I was like, what is his occupation in this game? I'm like, a game about looking for fires? Firewatch. Firewatch, you're literally just walking around. Same game like Journey, you're literally just walking around, but it's this story and this experience it gives you that you accept it. Like, I would say out of all the games, and this is the funny part about it, about, you know, my whole gameplay argument. And, you know, as you watch the podcast I'm going to do in the future, you realize I constantly contradict myself because I'm always trying to find, you know, maybe the real truth. You know, it's neither here or there, but going into it. With the gameplay, with the story, with games like Firewatch, I feel like that game has stuck with me more than any game I've played this generation. And it's hard to put my finger on it why. Cause I played a lot of games this great game generation. Like God of War, like maybe it doesn't stick with me as much as God of War. God of War, it might stick with me more than God of War. It might stick with me more than God of War. I'm not gonna lie. Firewatch might stick with me more than God of War. It's something about the execution of Firewatch. The color scheme, the music, the way the game started. Like if you played Firewatch, you know the first 5 minutes of the game, it's really just a text bubble. It's really just text bubble telling you what's going on, and like an A, B, C, D option about what you're gonna pick as a reaction to what you see in the text bubble. And as you go on, you get to really understand the stakes, what's going on in this character's life. The music swells, and then you're in it. from there, Hank has your full attention. You are Hank. You feel what he's going through. You understand why he's here. You understand why this voice on the other side of this forest means so much to him. Um, and the game really has no gameplay. You kind of really uncovering this mystery. I really want to play this game in front of Brianna. Uh, it's something she would just enjoy. Like something that we could just watch. I don't know if you would actually down and watch me play it, but like getting the story, it's just a beautiful story of just I guess leaving behind your problems and realizing once you get to this place that life still continues and you have to face what's going on. I don't know. It was a great game, and that was a game that didn't have gameplay. Uh, but do you need to have gameplay to be a great game? I don't think so. To have a great game, you don't have to have gameplay. Like Detroit Become Human is a fantastic game. The Telltale games, most of them are fantastic games. I love those games. I love a good story, first and foremost. I love a good story, and I would say more often than not, and honestly, more often than not, this might surprise you because I'm making this argument, I prefer story over gameplay. I will gladly play a game that has a great story and mediocre gameplay over a game that has great gameplay and a mediocre story. And that's just me living my truth. That's just me living my truth. But with that being said, I like it when there's good both. Like Last of Us might not have fun gameplay, but it's good. For me at least, it was good. It was intense, and I enjoyed it. I'm that demographic. But I'm starting to see a lot of games that just don't have that. Like honestly, like I love this game. The Outer Worlds is a game that I'm playing right now that I have a love-hate relationship with because the story is so good. The characters are so well written. But the gameplay is so boring, and I don't know. I made it boring. I know I'm trying to play it again. I feel like I kind of made it boring because I would. I made it boring because I would. I play as a sniper, and I have a lot of sneak, so I would kind of just crouch around and just shoot everyone in the face. Just I would just pretty much take everyone out real quick. It was fun at first, but now I feel like I'm not getting any satisfying fights. So I'm putting down the gun. You know what I'm saying? I'm too quick on the spot. You know what I'm saying? I'm fast straw Henry. That's what they call me in the streets. And I'm just trying to just calm down and pick a different path, just so I can really just kind of just catch up with it. Were we talking about Prince of Persia? Did we finish that? Yeah, man. Honestly, it was with the gameplay conversation. It's just it's. I feel like one of those debates are just hard. I just feel like a lot of these games, I wish they would just put more emphasis on the gameplay as well. I feel like it's great to have a great story, and that's my preference. But I feel like gameplay needs to be there also. I feel like I need to be enjoying what I do because there's times in the outer world where it's when you're going to place to place and the game gets slow. The game gets slow. When the game is slow and there's also not that much gameplay entice me to keep on going. At least for me, I lose my patience. I don't want to play it anymore. You know what I mean? I have shit to do. Nigga. Like I'm not 14 anymore. Just walking around fucking playing Fallout 3 all fucking day for getting 200 hours in Skyrim, doing the same shit on fucking 5 different characters. I don't got time for that shit no more. Like, you need to be giving me fucking quality content from A to Z. If I get bored for more than 15 minutes, I'm turning off playing something else. What the fuck? Apex had a new update, let's do it. Let's do it. Alright? Like, and that's, and I feel like it's kind of the issue when you gotta get older as a gamer. I feel like, at least for me, I feel like I'm losing a lot of experience because I'm losing on patience. And I feel like because I had a lot more patience back in the day, I would beat more games. And I feel like I was feeling bad about it for a long time. The fact that I would not beat my games. For the fact that I have so many games currently on PS4 that I have not beat, but when I look back on it, the games that I beat are the games I really fucked with. Like there are games on there I haven't beat, but like maybe I didn't really fuck with those games that much, or maybe it got slow when I got into Step Boy and something else came out, which often tends to happen. But there's some games I just didn't fuck with, like games that I beat, right? Games that I beat. I beat Red Dead Redemption 2. I felt like was phenomenal. I beat Spider-Man PS4, phenomenal. I beat Firewatch, obviously, phenomenal. I beat tons of shit. I beat tons of shit. All right, but I definitely have more games that I haven't beat on my system than games that I have, for the fact that I just don't have time, man. I just don't have time, and I used to have time back in the day, but to me, it's like if it's not working for me, it's not working for me, and I'm fine wasting my time. I'm not gonna waste my time. Going into that though, I feel like I do lose my patience when it comes to digesting content like video games and TV. I feel like as soon as you lose my interest, it's hard to get it back. And I kind of went into the last podcast that another bad issue that I have is that I get confused to what things are, and I feel like it should be a certain way, and I can't look past it. It's pretty judgmental of me. Like, I just be honest with me, it's judgmental, but that's what happened. And that's what happened with me with this show. So I started watching The Midnight Gospel when it came out. So if you don't know what The Midnight Gospel is, it's a show on Netflix, a Netflix original, and it's made by a guy named Duncan Trussell. Well, his name is Duncan Trussell. If you watch the podcast, you know what I'm talking about. D. Trussell. It's made by Duncan Trussell. He has a podcast called the Duncan Trussell Family Hour. He's been on Joe Rogan podcast sometimes, bringing guests on there. They might even do a weekly show. Last time he was on Joe's show, Joe was trying to get him on that, but who knows what's gonna happen with that. I'm really into podcasts, so I'll make this podcast anyway. He had a show on Netflix, and the show is drawn by Pendleton. I can't think of his last name, but he made Adventure Time. So it has the same really trippy art style, and the art style there is fantastic. That really drew me in. That's what really drew me in. Cause I heard him talking about on Joe Rogan podcast, and I didn't even listen to Duncan Trussell at the time when he was on there. I didn't even when he watched his interviews on Joe Rogan when I would see him on there. But when I would see it on Netflix, I loved the art style so much that I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a chance. So I gave it a chance, and I'm watching it, and the art style, like I said, is amazing. The art style is amazing. There's the sky is changing colors. There's all kinds of different monsters and effects, different clashing colors, different types of shapes, and it's very minimalist, which makes it more trippy. The art style was very unique. So I'm watching it, and it starts off like a regular animated TV show. It has the main character. He has this simulator that can talk to him, and the simulator can take him to different universes and different dimensions within our own universe, and he can go there, and he has what he calls a space cast, where he wants to talk to these people in these different universes and kind of get their ideas on philosophy and life and religion and relationships and so on and so forth. So the first episode, he goes down to this planet, and it's a planet infested by zombies. And it's this little president. He's a little small guy, and he's just shooting them up. It's like an everyday thing. He's shooting them up, and as soon as this guy agrees to be in the space cast, the show changes, right? The show changes. So what you thought was a plot going, it kind of ends up being, in a way, plotless, dialogue-wise. Now, stay with me. So the episodes of Midnight Gospel have clips from Duncan Trussell's actual podcast, the Duncan Trussell Family. And these characters that that the main character meets in the show are guests of the Knuckle Chunks family hour. So they will have pretty much clips, like voiceover clips, how the show's going on, and they're interviewing at a podcast. But as he's doing a space cast, things are going on in the background. Like they're killing things, they're like moving from point A to point B, and objectives are happening. Objectives are happening. Goals are being reached, and they're already in the point A to point B, and the episode does end. But the dialogue has nothing to do with what's going on TV for the most part. For the most part, as the season goes on, you start to kind of see how they correlate and what they're trying to say, and how the discussion does correlate with the visuals going on. But on my first watch, it was really kind of just jarring. It was really just jarring, if I'm being honest. Like watching it, and when I watch things, I intently watch and I listen. I try not to be on my phone. I don't like people talking to me. Like I like to zone in and see what's going on because I want to know what's going on. And as I'm watching it and listening to it, and like things are kind of overlapping with what's going on screen isn't really going on with what they're saying. And like in certain times they'll take a pause and they'll acknowledge what's going on. Like I say, like a character gets attacked, they're like, "Oh my God!" And they start screaming. But then and then the clip from the podcast will go on, and the characters continue talking as because you're the space cast or whatever. And that was really jarring to me. I just could not figure out what it was. I was like, are these clips? Are these people, like, are these, is this written? Is someone scripted out like this? Like, what's the point? I didn't understand it, so I just turned it off. I didn't even finish the episode, I just turned it off. I didn't get it. But as I started, but it stayed in my mind. It stayed in my mind because I really enjoyed what I was watching. But what I was hearing, I didn't understand. Because I felt like what I was hearing, like in most things, like in most movies, like in most TV shows, what I was hearing was what I was seeing, and it wasn't, and it was just confusing me. So after I did more research about it, I learned that it was clips. I didn't know that before, that it was clips from the podcast, and then it was clips from this podcast, and then like the kind of show has its own kind of separate loose story. So I'm okay. I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna move out my own biases, move out my own preconceptions of what the show should be, and what I think it should be, and just take it as what it is. And I love it. I love it. That show has brought me a lot of thoughts about philosophy I never had before. It put a lot of questions in my mind, which I thought was very interesting, but what I thought was even more amazing was how they told a story visually. If you watch the show, man, a lot of shit is going on. Right? But when you're following it, like jokes are happening. Like you're laughing at what you're seeing. You're interested in what you're seeing. You're like, what's going on? Like, what are they going on? What's the mystery? Like you're really into the plot. And as the story goes on, the podcast stuff honestly decreases, and the story becomes more. And the last episode of the podcast, I was spoiling it. As episode of the show without spoiling in it, was probably when it all came together for me, and probably one of the best episodes in my opinion. But that's because I'm a mama's boy, and that's all I'm gonna say. But it was a really great episode. Great series. And what I leads into, man, is that I'm slowly getting to the age where I'm becoming more and more closed-minded, right? Like I'm starting to feel it. Like I feel like no, it should be like this. Why is it not this? And I have to pull back for a second. And feel like it doesn't have to be like this because I'm used to it being that way. It doesn't have to be that way. People can do different things. And, what he did with the Midnight Gospel was an original thing. It was a whole new thing, and he did it. And I have to respect that as an artist. And I had to check myself. I'm like, you know what? This is new for you, and your first instinct was to turn it off. That was my first instinct to turn it off. So it told me two things of myself. One, like I said, I'm getting old. I'll finish the bottle, right? So I'm getting one thing about me. I'm getting old, starting to get close-minded, and two, I need to have more patience with art. I don't have much patience. I need to let things sink in. I feel like in the society that we're in, I don't want to be all like that person. In this society, we have changed so much. We look at our phones. We always look down. Look up. I don't want to be that person. All right? I don't want to be that person. But I feel like in the society we in, dude, like I feel like we have so much ADHD that I just cannot bring myself to really focus in on a 2 hour movie anymore. Or, you know what I mean, even like an hour long show. I'm now looking for things that are more digestible, like 30-minute reality TV show, maybe an hour long reality TV show, something that you don't have to pay attention to, something that you bring and really essentially just turn off for and kind of just zone out and you just enjoy the drama or the fun or whatever it may be. Uh, I'm starting to realize that I need to be more patient with this stuff. You know what I mean? That I need to let this stuff expose itself to me naturally, and me not reject it if it's not what I think it should be off the rip. I have to really accept things for what they are. And you know what I mean? Like I said, it happened to me last episode when I felt that about what game was that? I was feeling that about Horizon Zero Dawn. It's happened to me with this show. So you know, it's one thing I feel like as a creative person, you have to be able to pull back. 'Cause I feel like because that might be why I feel like creative people stop being good when they get older, right? Why does so many people lose their mojo when they get older? There's so many people who there's so many directors, for example, who just cannot manage to make anything good in their older years, or at least not consistently. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Ridley Scott, but like he is hit or miss. He's hit or miss. Like all those new Alien movies aren't the best. They're pretty fucking boring. Prometheus too, if you ask me, but I know some people like that shit. But them shits was boring. Um, the movie he made about Egypt was boring as fuck. And then also, you know, and he made the Martian movie, which is really good. But then I think after the Martian movie, he made another fucking Prometheus movie, and that shit wasn't good. So, you know, hey, you know, Ridley Scott, you need to get this shit together. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? He's a genius. But inconsistent. And I think what that could be also, I feel like maybe he's not him specifically. I guess him, because I was talking about him in an example, I guess. But among other directors, maybe they're being close-minded to the way audience are now, and just they're making shit the same way they were in the 80s and the 70s and the 90s. Like, movies in the 90s are different than movies watched in 2010. They're different. The tone is different. The the way the characters talk is different. Not just like the verbs they use or the language they use, but how natural it sounds. You know what I mean? 90s movies are very just point A, point B, point B, point A, point B, fucking go here, go here. It's very just kind of just like we're telling you enough to progress the plot. While movies in it kind of like 2000s and 2010s kind of had a lot of filler dialogue that told more about the characters though. Kind of like Quentin Tarantino movies. That's kind of like I would say in the 2000s, kind of when his influence really felt, when you had more naturalistic dialogue that felt like filler, but would mean something in the end because it would reveal more about the character. Um, I forgot what I was going with this. I remember what I was even talking about. All right. stuff about the character, but I feel like Ridley Scott. I'm not Ridley Scott. I don't want to point out Ridley Scott specifically. I love Ridley Scott movies, even the boring ones. I loved Robin Hood, and apparently a lot of people didn't like Robin Hood. I like Robin Hood. All right, I'm gonna put that out there. I love Robin Hood, but um, but I feel like a lot of people maybe they just don't adapt to the new audience, and that's what I want to check myself on. I don't want to be that person as I'm starting as I put more effort in my career that I'm really just pushing for it. I'm really grinding for it. I'm really putting my best foot forward. I don't want to get old in it and realize that time has left me. That I'm not picking up new things. Like what if this whole thing that he's doing, that Dexter Chuster was doing with the Midnight Gospel becomes normal. It becomes a new thing, right? I don't want to reject it. I want to understand it. You can only understand it by keeping your ear to the ground. And right now, I don't really have any success in my career. And I feel like I already kind of rejected it, right? Because it's not what I was taught in school. It's not what I read in books. It's not what fucking lessons from the screenplay told me it was okay. Like, this is something different. And, you know what I mean? This is something that I feel like we should be championing more. But yeah, man, that's all I say about Midnight Gospel. Honestly, Midnight Gospel was a great show. I really enjoyed it. If you haven't watched, I think you should watch, especially if you like trippy art style. You should check it out. You know what I'm saying? If you like, like take a little hits of acid, take some shrooms, take a little you know what I'm saying? You might enjoy it. I haven't done it, but you know what I'm saying? You might. It's pretty good. That being said, man, let's just catch up for a little bit. What's going on with me? If you're watching, you know what I'm saying, you made it to the end of this video. I'll know what's going on with you. You know what I mean? What's going on with me though? Besides moving out, I got promotion at work. At Forever 21, they're having it's pretty much when they change titles around in the store positions and the game positions. It's a restructure, and I'm getting promoted at my job, which I'm happy about, but I'm not super excited about because when I went to this new store I'm in, because my store had closed down after the main pandemic when everyone was on quarantine, and after that, and I was going back to work, they closed the store down. We went out of business, and then I'm going to another store, but my position got lowered. So now I'm back at the position I was already at, but it's all good. You know what I mean? I'm happy to have a job. You know what I mean? That's something I feel like you can be grateful for. I feel like with this coronavirus thing, you have to learn to really be grateful for the things that you do have. I feel like during the coronavirus stuff, I was one who got lucky. I didn't lose my job, and honestly, the government assistance helped me out a lot. It allowed me to get some equipment. It allowed us to have some extra money. We moved out. You know what I mean? Because I got more money than I was actually making at Forever 21. I was able to save a lot of it. So, I don't want to say too much about this because I know there's some people who definitely are hurting from this coronavirus thing and have lost family members. But if I'm being real about it, it did help me out. Getting this assistance from the government, not working for a little bit, and it kind of put things in perspective for me. Not perspective for me. When I was working, and I was out working, and I was just working on videos, thinking about videos all the time. I was realizing that I got to a point when I was just working at Forever 21, but not working for myself. That I was not doing what I wanted to be doing. You know what I mean? And I was at home just working on videos, editing videos all day, and writing all day. And I won't say all day, I'm going to be honest with you, but, a lot more than I was. And I was like, this is what I should be doing. Like, when I was 19 or 20 and first got my camera, I forgot how old I was hoping y'all be in the spot of doing it by this age, but I haven't done anything. It's kind of sad to say, if I'm being honest with it. It's sad to say because, I don't want to blame myself. I can blame the fact that I was in my parents' house. I can blame the fact that, I was motivated because I had people around me. But at the end of the day, I didn't have the hustle to push myself to do it. And I have to get past that. Because I know I have ideas that are great. I know I'm talented. I know I can make it. And I'm saying that right now on camera, to anyone. I'm saying that to my dad. I'm saying that to my mom. I'm saying that to my girlfriend Brianna. I'm saying that to anyone watching the video. Like, I'm gonna make it. And the only holding me back is me. The reason, as far as my career as I want to be right now, is because of me, and that's responsibility that I need to take. At the end of the day, when you're a creative person, you have to understand that you can't blame nobody but yourself for why you are not far enough for being where you're at. No one, you can't blame a single person. You can't. Especially this day and age, you can't. If you want to be a videographer, if you want to make music videos, you can't blame it on equipment, because I know you got a phone. Every phone got a camera. Like, you don't got the best phone. You can get an iPhone 6 for how much money? Wait till your contract run out and go to Sprint. Get a new phone. Get an iPhone 6. You'll be good enough. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Only shoot during the day. It will look good enough. If you selling art, you know what I'm saying? How hard are you selling an art? Yeah, it's good, but you post on Instagram ain't gonna do anything. Like, how hard are you really selling? Are you out in the street? Are you at your farmer market? And then maybe you're not saying get a kiosk. I know that costs money, but are you like at the farmer's market just trying to sell on the low, like other people do? Are you like on a corner trying to sell your shit on the low? Like really? Like, are you at the pier trying to sell your stuff? Like, how bad do you want it? How bad do you really, really want it? And I don't want to sound like I'm being a motivation speaker, because honestly, like, I need the motivation myself. Like, real shit, I need the motivation myself. So I'm not trying to be like a motivational speaker and like, get up, you gotta hustle, you gotta put the brim to the grindstone, and you gotta grind. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, really, what does that mean? When people tell you that on Instagram, they're like, you just gotta grind, you just gotta go, you gotta go. Like, I would see no fucking shit. Like, no fucking shit. But like, what does that mean? And what that means for someone else is completely different. For someone saying like, I work all day, every day, I grind, I hustle, that person could already be in a career of doing it, right? So he's already making money doing it. So great. But you know what I mean? But is he someone already working a 40-hour day? You know what I mean? Those are the people I want to hear from. And I mean, people working 40-hour days and saying like, hey, like, I work 40-hour days, but then, you know, by day off, I'm at the pier selling my art. I'm at the photography studios trying to get my shit done. You know what I mean? That's what I want to hear from. I want to hear just, you gotta grind. I want to hear what you did. I want to hear what you should have done. Grinding can be anything. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if you worked 40 hours, shit. 40 hours, you got two kids, you grinding, you going hard. 2 kids, 40 hour full time, that's grinding, you going hard. But it's different for everybody. So for me, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I listened to a podcast today, like I always do. And it was from the Black Okage. He used to be called Modern War Negro. He's on YouTube. He makes a lot of gameplay content. And I remember watching him in 2012 in my junior year of high school, just watching him. Like, I used to love his videos. Right here, I'll see him, full of energy, entertaining as can be. Always brought quality content. Back in 2012, he was bringing quality content. Now that he look dated, back in the day, he was bringing some quality content, and you know, he was funny. He was entertaining. And I listened to the podcast, and he told us as an audience that he was like, man, 2012, I was working at a preschool doing 10 or 14-hour days. Waking up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym, taking 6 to 8 buses to go to that gym, and then go to his job, and then go home and then make content. Probably not getting home to 10 p.m. And then make content, and then don't forget, have to get up at 5 a.m. to go take the train, take the bus, to go to the gym, to take a shower, to work out, take a shower, and then go to work. And then me, I'm here working 40 hours, and have not made a single video this month. But I want it, right? Like, this is what I want to do, right? You can't let your job hold you back. And I know for a lot of people who I know that are creative, it's because that you work that you're not giving it your all. But you have to want it for yourself. No one's gonna knock on my door and be like, hey Lloyd, hey bro, hey, you know what I'm saying, this deal with Spielberg, you know what I'm saying, here's a Ari, here's a fucking Alexa, whatever you want to use, you know what I mean, here's a pamphlet, you know what I'm saying, Shia LaBeouf signed on, Robert Downey Jr. signed on, just go ahead and pick, and you know, we gonna make a movie. You got a script ready? We can just make a movie, let's do it. No one's gonna fucking do that shit. I have to make it, I have to do it. Like, I have to do it, and I have to want it. And wanting it means after work, shooting a video and editing it. Wanting it means getting 2 hours, 3 hours sleep, like he was averaging when he was making YouTube. Wanting it is wanting it more than you want to sleep. That's what wanting it is. Wanting it more than you want to play video games. Wanting it more than you want to drink. Wanting it more than you want to get high. Wanting it more than you want to spend money at the store. Wanting it more than you want to fucking do whatever the fuck. Wanting it more than you want to fucking fix your car. Wanting it more than wanting to fucking go out to eat. Wanting it more than a fucking Popeye chicken sandwich. Wanting it more than fucking anything. You have to want it more than anything if you're creative, because creativity really makes money. And to start making money from it, you have to be hustling and getting to the top echelon of creators. And that's something I'm realizing to myself. And at this point, I'm not even talking to whoever is watching this video, whoever listens to this podcast. I'm just talking to myself. You have to want it for you. And you have to want it more than anything. So I'm ending on that. It's been a great podcast, dog. It's been a great podcast. Again, I just moved out, so these episodes are going to be more consistent. Every Thursday, I'm dropping it. Probably going to be dropping some clips on Instagram as well. So look out for those. I'm doing Twitch. I'm going to put some Twitch streams out. I'm going to get on the schedule. I promise you. I'm going to try to, because my schedule work changes every week. But I'm going to try to get on the schedule. But you know, thank you for watching the podcast. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great day.